Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
And welcome back to the premiere show of the 2023-2024 high school basketball season of High School Basketball Weekly. Tim Maury alongside my broadcasting sidekick, Rick Bua. And Rick, it's the first show of a year that we're looking forward to in terms of a lot of new faces in high school basketball here, especially in Northern Berkshire. And we're going to be covering all the Northern Berkshire high school teams this year, and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, and here we are. We're in December already, and first of all, I hope our viewers out there had a great summer. We certainly missed doing this game. This is not the prime time for a lot of folks, but it is if you like to cover high school basketball. High School Basketball Weekly is back again. I don't know, Tim, maybe our fifth or sixth season already. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, we left you in March, and things do change. All teams, professional, college, high school, youth teams, they change every year. And you may have the same teammate for a while, but things do change. And so we spent some time, Tim and I, up at Drury High School on Tuesday. Checking out the Jamboree, and we got a little showcase of at least the four teams that we cover, and there's been some changes and there's graduations, and we're going to talk about all that in this first program.
And we're going to kick right into it, Rick, talking about the girls and the Mount Greylock girls under Coach John Jacoby. Coming off a year last year, they finished 7-13, 4-8, fifth in the Central League. Four seniors this year. They didn't qualify for Western Mass or the MIA tournaments, but Coach Jacoby kind of rebuilding here. He had some hard luck losing one of his better players to prep school, and so he's got a little bit of a rebuilding job coming up.
He does, and what he was going to do this year, if Charlotte Cootie had stayed at Mount Greylock and hadn't transferred, is he was going to build the team around her, because she is extremely talented. And good luck to her. But a big loss for Coach Jacoby's program. He's had some tough luck over the years, losing some key players. But I'll tell you what, he's a really nice guy, and he's a great coach. And I really do believe that the kids he coaches over there really love Coach Jacoby. He's a good teacher. I mean, he's a teacher by day. He's a teacher after school too. And so he always gets the best out of his players. His record is never great, but he always comes out pretty strong late in the season, and we'll see what happens with this team. A lot of new kids, a lot of kids that have played for him before, but not a lot of court time. So we'll have to see. But he does have Mia Filio coming back and Jackie Brannon. He does have four seniors this year, some newer additions, and when I say newer additions on this program, we're going to be talking about all 8 teams: McCann, Drury, Hoosick Valley, and Mount Greylock. We're talking about kids that maybe have had some court time, but maybe didn't have a lot of time. And so you're going to see and hear a lot more about them this year. A.J. Pelkey, a sophomore. Phoebe Barnes, who had some playing time last year, a senior. They're going to be the mainstay of Coach Jacoby's team. I think what he's going to need is a ball handler, and you're going to hear a lot about that tonight, too, when we talk about the teams that we're covering. He lost Molly Sullivan. That was the one guard he had that can control the tempo. Emma Newberry also could handle the basketball. So he's going to have kids and handle the pressure. They're going to have to watch their bounce passes. They're going to have nice, crisp passes to beat the pressure. And then penetrate and try to dribble drive and go from there, because you don't have that lower post player in Cootie. You also Emma Galuli. Emma Galuli, she was a pretty darn good shooter, probably a better shooter in her first couple of seasons than she was in the last couple. But the Cootie loss, he'll, as he always does, he'll take the kids that are enrolled in that school and went out for his program and made the team, and he will make them as good as he possibly can. And we're going to be doing a game upcoming not too long from now, is when the Lady Mounties go up to Drury High School.
Right.
So that'll be a good one for us to cover.
And they had some great battles last year. McCann Tech, Rick, a new coach taking over for the Lady Hornets. They had a little bit of a disappointing year last year. Thought we'd get a little bit more out of them, but Justin Kratz takes over the reins at McCann, and he's going to obviously center his team around the returner, the key returner, the center, Hannah Boisver.
Yeah, Justin Krantz, the principal at McCann Tech, has decided to come back. He did coach the boys many years ago,
Right.
And,
That's right.
and before Chris Bullitt, and so he's got some basketball coaching experience. And to take over the girls program from Coach Kathy Budai and Mike Dowling is a good thing. And again, he's an educator, and he knows the game of basketball. And he's going to teach the girls the best he can the game of basketball. And so last year they graduated Macy Tatro. They graduated Addie Heyer, who was their ball handler, and Emily Glasser. So, they lost 20 some odd points a game just with the three seniors. And so it's pretty much going to be on the hands of Hannah Boisver, the senior center. She's probably 5'10", 5'11". She's lanky, athletic. She's a lefty, and she likes that left glass and the short jumper. So she is the mainstay right now, and he's going to have to build around her. And he's going to have to do it with some newer additions like Brooke Reynolds, who's a junior, got some time last year, Amaya Todd, Aiden Champney, who I like, Isabella Dodge. So some new names and some kids he's going to have to work with. But again, it's going to be breaking the pressure. They had a hard time breaking Drury's pressure last night. So Coach Krantz will work on that. It's going to be in almost every ball game. Especially when he played down at McCann. There's a lot of pressure down there and a lot of fast breaks. So, yeah, he needs that ball handler. We're going to have to see who we can get to slow things down a little bit and keep the turnovers at a minimal, and they'll be okay. But the loss of Macy Tatro, she was a heck of a player. She was fun to cover. And
Yes.
So it's going to be Hannah Boisver and all the newer players. But they only have the one senior, and that's Boisver. So they're up and coming, they're rebuilding, and there's a lot of teams that we're going to be talking about tonight that are rebuilding.
Absolutely, and youth is the order of the day for this year in high school basketball, and no one knows that better than Coach Ian Downey of Drury and his Lady Blue Devils. He's got a lot of new additions, got some key returners to a team that finished as a runner-up in the Class C, Western Mass Class C, the final before losing to Springfield ICS, a very, very good team. But Coach Ian Downey's got some new faces this year, but they're going to be tough as they always are, Rick.
Yeah, and they did qualify for the D5 girls tournament last year, and they won a couple of games. They beat Invocation Academy and Tohoto before losing to West Boylston. So Coach Ian Downey did exactly what I said usually happens to Coach Jacoby's team over at Greylock. And they do get better. And it's a very common thing to say, wait till you see this team at the end of the season. But we can say that on this one.
Right.
And they're going to be fine. And last year, their go-to player was senior Alyssa Russell. She took 11 points a game to graduation with her, along with Lauren Davis, who was a spark plug. To say the least. She was like the Energizer Bunny. She was go up and down the court.
Right, that's
and
for sure.
she put a lot of minutes on the floor, and Morgan Sarkis was the other senior last year. So key loss there is your scorer, of course, with Russell, because they were looking for her inside and outside. She had a good three-point shot. But the key returners by far are Brooke Bishop, the senior power forward, and also Jacinta Felix. So you've got your big girl in the middle, and you've got your point guard, the girl that will quarterback the team, that handles the ball more than anybody else. And Jacinta is going to get a lot of shots off. She did last night.
Right.
I don't know what percentage of shots she knocks down, but if she could shoot around 45 or 50%, Tim, I think she's going to be in double figures every game, as in Brooke Bishop. Brooke's looking to drive in the lane. I think she's going to be doing that a lot more. She was looking to pass more when she got the ball in the paint the last couple of years.
Right.
And I think if she puts the ball up in the paint, she's going to score or she's going to draw a whistle. And I think she's going to be at the foul line a lot this year.
Yeah.
But you've got some newer additions. And again, when I say newer additions, kids that have got court time with Coach Downey, but you're going to hear a lot more of. Megan McGrath is a sophomore, and she's one of the better athletes up at Drury High School. But she sat most of last season with a leg or knee injury, and she didn't suit in the Jamboree. So because I haven't spoken to Coach Downey yet, I'm not really sure how many kids he's got nursing through injuries now and how significant they are. Was it just we're going to take it easy at the beginning of the season and let them join us midway through so that we have them at the end? We'll find out when we cover our first Drury girls game. But Isabella Moore did a nice job last night. She has a nice running jumper that I like. Nora Wood, a sophomore guard. The other senior, other than Brooke Bishop, is Marley Brothers. And Hannah Lacasse, who was not in uniform last night, but if she is available and she's on that roster, she can score. She's a very good athlete.
Yep.
And so we'll see. But they will definitely be better as the season goes on. And it's not really what you do right now, but how you're playing in February.
Absolutely, and that's a mark of an Ian Downey team. They get better, they play hard, they get better. And he works them hard, and I think it's going to be a breakout year for Jacinta Felix, the junior guard. Tremendous talent, and now she's going to take the reins for this Drury team. So I'm looking for big things from her, and I think she's going to be a big piece of this Drury girls basketball team this year. Moving on to our final girls team, Northern Berkshire, Hoosick Valley. They, of course, went to the Final Four in Division 5. They lost in the semifinal round to Millis, but they've got some good returning firepower, and they start off right in the middle with Taylor Garabedian. She is a force, and she can do things from the interior and the exterior.
Yeah, and when we left our last High School Basketball Weekly program in March last year, Tim, you and I both left knowing that Coach Frederick was going to have literally his entire team back, plus new additions.
Right.
And so Gabby Billets did graduate. She took with her just about 8 points per game. But it wasn't about the scoring with her, and it never was. And she and Tim, you've said it before, and you could talk about it in a minute, is she was one of the student athletes up there in that girls program that had one of the best careers ever.
Right.
And Gabby's presence in the lane, her dominance in the paint, her dominance on offensive and defensive rebounds, her passing, her unselfishness, and her willing to pass and set up her teammates, that's what made her special. And so, yeah, they're going to miss her. They will miss the 8 points, but they're going to get it back with plenty of players, Tim. And one of the sharpest players that I like a lot, we both agree, is the junior point guard Ashlyn LaSure. Boy, you told me about her when she was very, very young.
Yep.
She has not disappointed her team, her coaches, or the fans at Hoosick Valley. And she's going to have a great, great season. She plays with so much confidence. She's a good shooter. She penetrates. She's a great passer.
Very unselfish player.
Yeah, she reminds me of the Robinson girls.
Right.
A lot with her talent. Abby Scalaba, second full season at Hoosick Valley, is a good shooter. She's court smart. She's basketball smart. Taylor Garabedian is probably their overall best player and the girl that they look to, and she can go inside and outside. She likes to drive. She'll drive left or right. No one wants to get in her way. No one will take an offensive charge.
Right.
So the girls don't do it quite as much as the boys do, but she can shoot from the outside too. So she's an inside-outside threat. Last year she averaged 13 points a game. Emma Meswar, spunky, has improved. You can tell she's worked on her game very, very hard. And Hannah Shea, who did about four and a half points a game last year. So they're pretty much they're starting four or back, and then with Hannah Shea, you've got your five. But then you got Maren Capiello, who had playing time last year. Haley McNeese, a senior with plenty of experience. Reagan Shea, who played as an eighth grader, is now a first year. So they're ready to go. And,
Coach Frederick, I talked to him yesterday at the Jamboree. He's cautiously optimistic. He says we've got a lot of returning experience, and he's expecting big things out of his squad this year. Switching over to the boys' action, Rick, Mount Greylock boys, they have a new coach this year, and they're coming off a very, very successful year last year. Of course, they won their league, the Hampshire North. They were undefeated in the Hampshire North, and they got to the quarterfinals of the D5 state tournament. So they want to keep up the good role that they've got going there.
Yeah, Coach Bob Thistle, who has been such a good friend to High School Basketball Weekly over the years, such a cordial, nice gentleman, a very, very good teacher, and a very, very good coach. And we here at Northern Berkshire Community Television want to wish Coach Thistle, his family, the best of luck in his new endeavors. I understand the coach has made a geographical move to southeastern Massachusetts. So, Coach, whatever you do from here on, best of luck, and thank you so much for all your kind words and the kind things you've always had to say as a guest here in High School Basketball Weekly. And so, Tommy Verdell is in his first season now, taking over Coach Thistle's boys, and they had a pretty darn good season 2 years ago, and we could see it coming, Tim. He was loaded with seniors last year, and they didn't disappoint. They became the Cinderella team in D5 in the whole state of Massachusetts, and when they were the last team standing when it was all said and done for the boys of the 4 teams that we cover here on this program. They were the Road Warriors. They defeated Broomfield on the road, Salem Academy Charter on the road, and Westport. Just to reach the quarterfinals where they lost to Holbrook in a pretty good ball game. But they had some key losses, Tim, in graduation. Right. Chase Doyle, 15.5 points. Seamus Barnes, their main man in the center, 12.6. Max McAllister, almost 10. Jackson Chelsea, almost 7. Adam Sandifer, 5.5. There's 50 points right there to graduation, and that's huge. Yep. And so returning this year is senior power forward Judge Martin. Desmond Cobb with a little bit, he's a senior, he's a little bit of experience, and Noah Kane Smalls, only a sophomore. Those are the only 3 kids that played for Coach Thistle last year that had any experience at all, but together only averaged around 7 points a game. Right. So for Coach Verdell, it's a total rebuilding program, and best of luck to him, we'll see what happens. I'll bet they improve little by little as the season goes on. They just need the time on the floor together.
Right. Now, a team that's got some returning experience coming back, the McKeon boys, Coach Chris Bullett's squad, they made the state tournament last year. He's got some key returning players this year, and I think they can make some noise.
I like his team. I like this team just like I did a few years ago when he graduated a few of his seniors. They made that nice run in the D5 tournament, Tim, when they lost to Drury up at Drury High School. But they had a great season that year, and he's rebuilt it back to where he'd like to have it right now. And they lost to Paulo Freire in the Western Mass quarterfinals and lost to Mystic Valley Charter in the preliminary round of the D5 tournament. But they're returning some key players, but they're still young. Their top scorer last year, averaging 14.5, was Jake Howland. He's back. He's a senior guard. Walt Mazza, I like a lot. These 3 kids we're going to talk about right now, I really admire. They are really good student athletes. They are great basketball players. Jake Howland, Walt Mazza, senior guard, and Eric Rougeau. And I talked to Coach Bullitt early last year, and he said, "Yeah, wait till you see Eric Rougeau. He's really improved from his freshman year, and he's a junior forward this year, and he plays really, really, really hard. He pounds the boards. He plays great defense. He scraps. He's a good shooter. He's improved even more. So I love those 3 kids. You start your team right there, and then you work in Zach Howland, who's a sophomore, Jake's brother, who got some playing time last year. He started last night, or the other night in the Jamboree, and Jack Dolan. Their big loss was their big guy, their 6'5" or 6'6" center, Colby Marco, who averaged about 9 points a game. But I think they're going to be fine, and they're going to be fine, especially in Tri-County North. I think they're going to do much better than the 4th place finish from last year. Right. And I know Coach Bullitt is high on these kids, and he's groomed them to the point right now where it's their job now to take over.
Right, they're in a position now. He's got the experience, no excuses for them. These young men have a chance to make some noise, as you said, in their league and perhaps in the state tournament. A team that's going to have a little bit of a rebuilding project to go is the Drury boys, the Blue Devils under head coach Jack Reset. They lost arguably one of the best players in all of Western Massachusetts in Louis Gelati, who averaged better than 23 points a game. Amant David also averaging in double figures. Those are two big holes to fill for this young Blue Devil squad.
Yeah, the offense last year was built around Louis Gelati and Amant David. And Sam Mormon, as a sophomore, he started off the season really hot last year. But the way the offense ran, there was a lot of slashing and a lot of penetrating with Gelati and a lot of outside shooting. He was their man.
Right.
He was the go-to guy as well. He should have been. And Amant David played a nice secondary role. It kind of put Sammy Mormon a little bit on the outside as he's learning to play inside. But they were big last year. And as you recall, we've said many times, Coach Reset has never been super big.
Right.
But having three kids around that same size and same height and dominating under the boards, they were really strong. But they were a little bit weaker at the guard spot. This year, I'm going to turn it around a little bit and say he's a little bit stronger, a little bit more experience in the backcourt. So, you're going to have Mormon, and I think he's going to be in the post a little bit more than before. I think he's going to post up when he can, when he gets the right matchup. But you've got Dante Dillard, a senior guard, the only senior on Coach Reset's team. He's gonna have a really good season. He's confident on the floor. He's good with the ball in his hands. They don't turn it over that much. And then Miles Beauchamp, a junior guard who got some playing time last year. He's a sharpshooter. Right. Not that Dillard can't knock him down, but Beauchamp's got a real nice three look. He's got a nice follow through shot, nice rotation on his ball. Connor Hinkle, one of the best total student athletes up there, an incredible baseball player, has taken his basketball skills and has improved. I think just by watching the Jamboree alone, in his confidence, in his floor presence, and then the fifth starter, I'm guessing, Tim, as you did last night, may very well be first-year guard Jorge Bond, and also. And we're going to talk about a young man from Hoosick Valley in a couple of minutes, but he's got confidence right now as a ninth grader. Right. He looks really good. Coach Reset has a tendency to bring his kids into the program very slowly, and he doesn't throw you out there when you're not ready to be out there. But Jorge's going to add a lot of value to that team too. They are going to get better as the season goes on. And how good will they be in February? That'll tell the tale.
Right, and there's no question. You talk about young Jorge Bond, just a freshman. Before it's all said and done, he may be one of the better sharpshooters in Berkshire County from his guard position. Just very talented young man, and I know Coach Reset's expecting some big things out of Jorge, even as a freshman. So as you said, the Blue Devils always are there at the end of the year. They play hard. Coach Reset always gets them to play better as the season goes along.
I think, Tim, also, if I could just add this for a second, is that what I saw Tuesday night at the Jamboree was a lot of the coaches understand that it's a Jamboree, it's a showcase. It's time for your kids to face someone else other than a weekend scrimmage. But I watched Coach Reset last night, and not to my surprise at all, he was teaching. He was teaching all the way through, and even though he played everybody, and the outcome did not really matter to him, he was teaching, and he pulled the kids aside, and he did that with Jorge Bond in a couple of situations, and that just tells you what kind of coach Coach Reset is. And I think his staff, Coach Beauchamp, Holmgren, and Georgie, they're all going to be teachers this year with a younger team, and then they will see the results, hopefully at the end of the season.
Interesting team, Hoosick Valley, the boys under head coach Bill Robinson. They also made the state tournament last year before they lost in a round of 16. They got several key returning players. Even though they were a young team last year, he's got a lot of firepower returning this year offensively.
Yeah, he does. 14-8 last year, 7-5 in the Bi-County East. He shows right now 9 players on his varsity roster, pretty much all of them, Tim, with experience.
Right.
And he's pretty much bringing back most of his starters, or almost all his starters, including his 2 biggest scorers, and there's 2 seniors. That's Frank Field and Joey McGovern. Together, you're looking at over 30 points a game. I think it's going to be even higher than that this year. It has the potential to be. They don't worry about who's the high scorer of the game. Their goal out there is to play hard and to win the ball game. What's going to happen is going to happen. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to be around 35 points a game between the 2 of them.
Right.
Aiden Wicks, the sophomore point guard. Oh my goodness gracious!
Right.
I would love having that kid on my team. I loved him last year as a first year, and now as a sophomore, you can see his skills have improved already. The kids at Hoosick Valley just play with so much confidence on the floor. No cockiness, all confidence, and they know the game, and they all see the floor really, really well. Sophomore Quinnell Bradley is back, and he's their 4th starter. Will Hakes, I've seen improvement in him already. In his defense, his dribbling, his shooting. He impressed me at the Jamboree. But how about that 8th grader, Trevor Moynihan?
Something else, huh?
He is something else. You told me about him last year, Tim, as a 7th grader on the JV team. I don't know what the young man averaged, but again, I don't know what it is. These kids are just basketball smart, basketball ready, and there's no nerves out there. They just play with so much confidence. And he's got the whole package right now as an 8th grader, and Coach Robinson has got him up playing, and they're going to be really, really strong as long as they stay healthy.
Right. That's going to be the key for Hoosick Valley. They've had some injuries, people a little bit banged up coming out of the football season. They had a good football year there, so it may take some time for the Hurricanes to get themselves squared away. On a programming note, Rick, something we're going to be doing different this year here on channel 1302 at Northern Berkshire Community Television, our high school game of the week. We're going to do a game of the week each week throughout the season. We're going to cover all the teams, boys and girls, in Northern Berkshire County. And our first game of the week is going to be Friday, December 15th. That's the game that we're going to broadcast between South Hadley and Hoosick Valley. These are 2 teams that know each other well. They've had some great matchups over the years. And so we're looking forward to doing that one. That'll be at Hoosick Valley. And next week on High School Basketball Weekly, we'll give the times when that game will be rebroadcast. But that's going to be our first high school game of the week. And we're going to be putting out a schedule, Rick, of all the games that we're going to be doing this year. And again, we're going to make sure we cover every team in Northern Berkshire County. And of course, High School Basketball Weekly, you see it right here at this time, Thursday evenings at 7:30 p.m. It's rebroadcast every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And then again on Sunday at 7 o'clock. And of course, during the course of the year, we'll have highlights of games. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get some interviews, both with coaches and players from our local high school teams. But we're looking forward to a great season.
Yeah, we're looking for another great season. Tim and I will be here on a weekly basis. We'll do the high school game of the week. And, it was great to add a member to our group, Tim, and that's former Drury girls coach John Franzoni, who absolutely loves working with us, whether it's on this program or whether it's doing the games. Coach loves to be back in the gymnasium. So between the 3 of us and, of course, our friends that put this all on, Dave Fabiano and Peter Gentile, we're going to have another great season here at Northern Berkshire Community Television, and High School Basketball Weekly.
Absolutely. We're certainly looking forward to it, Rick. We're going to see some great action throughout the season, and we always implore you to support your local high school teams. It's a great way to spend a winter evening here in Northern Berkshire County. So for Rick Bull, I'm Tim Moy. We're going to see you next week on High School Basketball Week.
So long, everybody.